Hello everyone, and welcome to Andrew Broussard Watercolors. Today, I'm going to take a burnt umber watercolor sketch and try to paint over it with different colored watercolors. This was done on Arch's rough. There was an imaginary scene, kind of splashed together, wet and wet with scraping, etc. And I let it dry, and I pretty much just wanted to treat it like, and I'm going to mispronounce this terribly, a grisaille, the French word for a underpainting for oil. So I wanted to treat it in that fashion and see how it would work painting over this sketch. So I'm going to take the number 4 rigger and I'm going to play with pigments that are kind of more opaque. I guess down the line I could play with ones that are more transparent, but this is cerulean blue U, so it's a synthetic, and we'll see how everything kind of comes together. Now I'll name the colors and mention them as I go along, and we'll play around with kind of painting in almost like a paint by numbers, I guess, and we'd have to imagine these colors. And if there's any worth to this approach, which I think there will be, I think it'll be fun, we can do future videos where we do it from a photograph, do a tonal sketch, and then paint over it. Okay, so that's the cerulean blue. I'm going to switch to ultramarine. Work our way up. And a very cool thing happened today, and I want to share this story. So it's Friday, long work week, and after work, powerlifting practice, and I did what's called hang cleans and then pause squats. I'm trying to work my way back up to where I was before having COVID. And then after that, I went longboarding, and I got over 10 miles in, which was my best trip so far. And I was really excited about that. And I was stopped by a woman who said, like, Andrew Broussard. And she's like, oh, I watched you on YouTube, which was like the coolest thing. So it was a local woman, and her kids, I guess, recognized me because, you know, the skateboarding videos as well. Skateboarding around, so they watched my videos. So that was really, really cool to have that happen. I believe her name was Steph. So shout out to Steph and her family if y'all watch this video. Okay, so that was playing around with cerulean blue and ultramarine. I put out some raw umber. I also want to put out some yellow ochre, since yellow ochre is kind of more on the opaque side compared to raw sienna. I think raw sienna will make its way out as well. All right, I can't find my tube of yellow ochre, so I'll just reconstitute it right here on the palette, and I'll utilize that. Now I wonder if this will come out kind of looking like an illustration, or it'll be quite colorful, especially since I'm not really mixing colors that much. And if you watch this channel, you'll know that I really enjoy painting dark and moody. Let's throw some raw umber in there. Now I don't want to get too crazy with colors, primarily because when I was preparing for the video, I was putting colors out, and then I realized I fell into the trap of like trying to use too many colors. which is something that we're all guilty of doing. If you read any beginner tutorial, and I don't mean to be like this is a rule that you have to follow, but you know, it's generally advised to start with a very limited palette and you know, only, you know, work within that. You know, use your blue for your blue, use your yellow for your yellow, mix your green from there, use your red to mix your purple and orange. But what I was falling into was wanting to put out all these colors and experiment and try all these different things, where I should just maintain it just to a few different ones. So this is playing a lot with the raw umber. But I will grab some green and yellow. But first, ultramarine blue, light red oxide for a distant purple, almost give it the aspect of distant mountains. Should have probably went lighter in value. I do have a paper towel I can lift with, and then I could feed some different colors in. Feed a little bit of burnt umber, burnt sienna in there. Probably get even lighter and wash right over that guy. Okay, let's experiment with some greens. So here is lemon yellow. I'll put that on the edges to kind of catch some light and some glow. So wherever I have those openings, I'll imagine that to be areas of light coming through. I believe in art, or in general, they're called bird holes, those little openings in the trees. I don't remember where I read that. It is very tempting to apply the lemon yellow thickly. And of course, if you watch the videos, you'll know that me and lemon yellow have a hate-hate relationship, where I can't ever get it to look like yellow. For me, it just pushes green very quickly. It's interesting that the burnt umber isn't muddying up the painting. That's what my main concern was, that anything I put down would turn to mud. And usually I do like the mud, but with this I wanted, you know, a different approach, a different experiment. This is lemon yellow with ultramarine, so like a darker green for the inner foliage. And I'm just getting some variety with this pattern. A little bit more on the ultramarine side. This creates a nice sense of depth on top of that burnt umber that's there. And there is some raw umber that we had put previously in this video, in that spot. Could mix some grays for the stones, and I'll use, you can either use like a raw sienna or burnt sienna and the ultramarine to kind of get a little gray. I think this would be hard to do because we're going over that light spot and darkening it with it, even though I want that spot to remain light and look like rocks. So I think a better scrape out originally would have helped that, or leaving bare paper in the original sketch would help with that. We could take burnt umber with ultramarine for a dark. Now that we have a lot of wet and wet going on, just feed in the darker portions. The goal is to get this dark to pop a little bit forward in comparison to what's previously there. I didn't play around with branches or anything like that, which we can do. This is the number 4 rigger, which you can get nice lines with it, nice kind of calligraphy type strokes. I'm pretty heavy-handed, but I think with practice, nicer strokes can be attained. Okay, so let's pause it and have a look. All right, I just did a dry off. I didn't really have too much of a value shift take place, which was cool. While I was standing up looking at it, I felt like the painting was just a jumble of things taking place. So I'm not sure if me focused on it and knowing what's there previously has affected my view like while I was painting it, but it does seem like a lot is going on in this one, even though not a lot has been done to it. Unfortunately, the paper that I had cut is way larger than a 5x7 opening, just so you could kind of get an idea of what it would look like underneath a mat if it was matted at 5x7. But I'm really happy with the way the lemon yellow sat. Here's the ultramarine lemon yellow mix. Here's our burnt umber and ultramarine for our dark. There's our green that we mixed. Here is our yellow ochre in some of these spots, which kind of mellowed out. At first it seemed to apply pretty heavily, but that blended it in very well. I believe some of these darks are our raw umber, and our cerulean blue, of course. This is our light red oxide and ultramarine. So overall, a cool experiment. I think that it would be really fun to do this from a photograph, to first do a tonal sketch in burnt umber, let it dry, and then paint over it. Or you'd maybe do a tonal sketch on location, and then at home play with the colors and have fun with it. But you could see that this is definitely different than my normal style painting. So it's all about experimenting and trying different things. So just end of the video type thing. Of course, you are always welcome to follow along with these videos. You have my express permission to sell anything that you do when you copy a tutorial. You can sign your own name to it. I give you permission to do that. Please like, subscribe, and follow. And of course, down below, I have a link to my Patreon and Etsy if you ever want to support me. All right, y'all take care and have a great day.